I didn't stop because I found discipline. I stopped because my best friend died, and for the first time, I recognized myself in someone who didn't make it. My name is Jason. I'm 43 years old. I'm not telling you this story from a place of success. I don't have a dramatic comeback. I don't have a finished ending. I'm telling it from the middle, from a life that's still under construction. Some days are solid. Some days feel like borrowed time. But at least now, when I say I'll do something, there's a chance I actually will. There was a time when my life looked ordinary in the best way. I had a job that paid the bills, a woman who trusted me without checking her phone afterward, a child who believed I could fix anything just by showing up. I used to come home tired in a normal way. Dinner on the table, noise in the apartment, arguments that ended in laughter instead of silence. If you had met me back then, you wouldn't have warned anyone about me. That's the part people don't understand. I didn't fall apart overnight. I didn't start broken. It started as a way to manage pressure. Nothing dramatic, nothing illegal looking, just something to quiet my thoughts when they wouldn't shut up. I told myself it helped me function, and at first, it did. I still went to work, still showed up for birthdays, still looked people in the eye. That made the lie easy to believe. I said things like, "I'm fine. I've got this. I can stop whenever I need to." I believed myself because I wanted to. The problem wasn't that I lost control all at once. The problem was that control slowly stopped being the goal. Relief became the goal. I started rearranging my life without admitting it. I stopped staying late at work, not because I didn't care, but because I needed to be somewhere else. I stopped answering calls, not because I was busy, but because I didn't want questions. My wife noticed before I did. She didn't accuse me at first, she just watched. She'd ask normal things. Why is the account short again? Where did that money go? Why do you seem so far away even when you're here? I learned to sound offended. Offended people don't have to explain themselves. That trick worked for a while. Trust doesn't disappear with shouting. It disappears with repetition. Borrowing money and not returning it, promising things and missing them, saying Friday and meaning never. At first, my friends helped. They didn't judge me. They gave me cash, couches, excuses. Then one friend stopped lending money. Another stopped answering texts. Another stopped inviting me over. No big confrontation, just distance. I remember realizing I was always the one calling now. That's how you know something's wrong. I didn't go to jail. I didn't wake up in a hospital. My bottom was quieter. It was watching my wife notice empty spaces in our home. A tool missing, then another, then something she actually cared about. She didn't yell, she just looked tired. That look stayed with me longer than any argument. My child started asking questions that didn't sound angry, just confused. Why is Dad gone so much? Why doesn't he play anymore? I didn't know how to answer without lying, so I said less and less. My best friend Marcus struggled too. We used to joke about it, like laughing could keep things from becoming real. Then one morning I got a call. No speech, no warning. He was gone. I stood in my kitchen holding my phone, and for the first time, I didn't feel fear. I felt recognition. I didn't think, this could be me. I thought, this is me, just later. And something finally broke through the denial. Not courage, honesty. I realized I didn't trust myself anymore. And if I didn't trust myself, no one else should. People think change starts with motivation. It doesn't. It starts when you realize your own voice can't be trusted. I stopped believing my plans, my timelines, I'll start Monday. That was the moment I asked for help. Not the kind that makes you feel strong, the kind that takes away your exits. There were people who stepped in when I couldn't step up. They didn't give me speeches. They didn't promise comfort. They just made sure I couldn't disappear again. They took me somewhere quiet, a basement. Not a punishment, a boundary. For 2 months, my world got very small. Time stopped having names. Days were measured by meals, by footsteps above me, by the sound of a door opening. They fed me. They made sure I drank water. and they gave me medication to ease the worst parts. Not to make me feel good, just to keep things from becoming unbearable. It wasn't heroic. It was boring, repetitive, humbling. And that's what saved me. When I came out, nothing around me had changed, but I had. I didn't feel reborn. I felt exposed, like I'd been returned to my life without armor. When I stepped back into normal life, I expected some kind of relief, like finishing a storm and finding calm on the other side. That's not how it works. The world doesn't reset just because you finally stopped running. People don't rewind their fear. They don't erase memories. They don't forget the nights they stayed awake wondering where you were. I came back clean, but I came back late. I went back to my family thinking, quietly, carefully, that maybe effort would be enough. That if I showed I was different, things might soften. My wife didn't argue. That hurt more than anger ever did. She'd already done her fighting while I was gone, inside my own head. By the time I came back, she was finished. She told me she had moved on, that she was with someone else. She wasn't cruel about it. She wasn't dramatic. She was calm. And that calm told me everything. She had already mourned the version of me she needed. I didn't lose my marriage the day she left. I lost it over years of being unreliable. That's a hard thing to carry, but it's an honest one. Getting clean doesn't make you less alone. Sometimes it makes you more alone. Because now you can't hide from the silence. I moved into a small place, nothing fancy. A bed, a table, a chair. The first nights were strange. No chaos, no noise in my head, just time. I didn't know what to do with myself when there was nothing to escape from. That's when you learn whether you actually like the person you've become. People think the biggest debt is money. It isn't. Money is measurable. Trust isn't. Still, I owed a lot of both. I got a simple job, the kind of job people don't brag about. Early mornings, straightforward tasks, a supervisor who didn't care about my story. And that was good for me. I needed a place where my past didn't matter. I started paying people back. Not all of them wanted the money. Some had already written me off. Some took it quietly. Some never responded at all. I learned not to demand forgiveness. I learned to send the money anyway. Consistency became my apology. A few people stayed, not because I deserved it, because they chose to. Others kept their distance. They were polite, careful, always slightly guarded. I don't blame them. I trained them to be that way. Recovery doesn't erase the version of you that hurt people. It just asks them to watch you long enough to decide if you're real now. Some never will. That's part of the cost. Rebuilding a relationship with a child is different. You don't get speeches. You don't get dramatic forgiveness. You get observation. My child watches what I do, not what I say. I don't promise things anymore. I show up when I say I will. I leave when it's time to leave. I don't push for closeness. Sometimes we talk for 10 minutes. Sometimes we sit quietly. Sometimes weeks go by without contact. And every time, I remind myself, this isn't about my comfort. This is about safety. Trust with a child doesn't come from emotion. It comes from reliability. People ask me what the fight looks like now. They expect something dramatic, some big daily battle. It's not like that. Most days it's quiet. It's standing in line at a store and feeling my shoulders tense for no clear reason. It's hearing laughter behind me and wanting to disappear from the sound of it. It's my phone lighting up late at night and my body reacting before my mind does. The danger doesn't announce itself. It shows up disguised as relief, as rest, as permission. I don't wake up wanting to destroy my life again. I wake up wanting things to be easier. And that's the part I have to watch. So I keep my days small. I don't plan too far ahead. I don't promise things I can't keep. I stick to routines that would bore the person I used to be. Work, home, sleep. It sounds empty, but it isn't. Because inside that structure, I'm learning something new. How to sit with discomfort without running from it. How to let a bad moment pass without turning it into a bad year. How to live without constantly negotiating with myself. Some days I fail quietly. I get impatient. I withdraw. I shut down. But I don't disappear anymore. And for me, that's progress. I don't have a redemption story. I don't wake up grateful every morning. I don't feel strong. What I feel is present. I work a job that doesn't impress anyone, but I earn every hour honestly. I send money to people who may never forgive me, and I don't expect them to. I talk to my child when they're ready, not when I need it. Sometimes that means a short call. Sometimes it means waiting. And waiting used to terrify me. Now it feels necessary. I still think about my friend Marcus, about how close the line really was, about how easily this could have ended differently. That thought doesn't scare me anymore. It keeps me grounded. My life isn't fixed, but it's no longer running away from me either. I'm 43 years old. I'm still rebuilding, still learning how to live inside the consequences of my own choices. And for the first time in a long time, I'm not chasing relief. I'm choosing to stay. And today, that's enough.